Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. RHOBH's PK Kemsley has Beverly Hills moment with children and Boy George. Not only is Boy George a client of Dorrit Kemsley's estranged husband, PK Kemsley, but he's part of the family. Over the weekend, Jagger, 11, and Phoenix, 9, took in a Dodgers game with their dad and Uncle George. Amid his and the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills stars' divorce battle, PK documented the outing on his Instagram. Phoenix with her GD father is a Beverly Hills moment. PK captioned one of the 3 snaps of his kids rocking LA Dodgers paraphernalia. Finally, it's good to see PK and Dorrit's children spending some quality time with their dad. Since filing for divorce from PK, Dorrit has sometimes complained he doesn't spend enough time with their children, who understandably miss him. Back in April, journalists hungrily devoured photos of the former couple sitting separately at Jagger's baseball game. Coming on the heels of their divorce news, it was fitting that they were both dressed totally in black. Though PK seemed mostly absent from his children's lives in the months prior to the divorce filing, he's now pushing for joint custody. That seems a little odd, since in RHOBH Season 14, Dorrit complained about PK neglecting their children. "There are times that I think PK's the greatest father in the world," she said at the time. "But is he the most hands-on father? The truth is, no." At the end of the day, it's especially nice to see PK putting in the effort with his kids. And by all appearances, they seem to be having a great time with their dad and Uncle George. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is now streaming on Peacock in the US and on Hulu in the UK and Ireland. It was a sparkling afternoon in Beverly Hills, the kind of sun-drenched day that looks straight out of a reality TV fantasy. But for Paul PK Kemsley, the glitzy streets weren't just a backdrop for another photoshoot or Real Housewives confrontation. Instead, they became the setting for a heartwarming, utterly human moment. A rare glimpse into the real life of the often guarded RHOBH husband. Surrounded by his children and his longtime best friend, the one and only Boy George, PK reminded fans that beneath the designer labels and Bravo drama, family and friendship still shine the brightest. Ditching his usual business meetings and Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cameos, PK decided to spend the day soaking up the simple joys of life, laughs with his kids, strolls through Rodeo Drive, and cappuccinos with a music legend. It was, as he later described on Instagram, a Beverly Hills moment I'll never forget. A stroll with star power. Onlookers couldn't help but notice the unlikely trio making their way through the upscale neighborhood. PK, dressed in a laid-back but luxurious black linen button-up and designer sneakers, was flanked by his children, all smiles and giggles, clearly delighted by the day out with Dad. But stealing the spotlight, in true pop icon fashion, was Boy George, donning his signature hat and an embroidered silk jacket that shimmered in the sun. While Beverly Hills is no stranger to celebrities, seeing Boy George casually joking with PK's youngest and crouching down for a sweet selfie with PK's daughter made heads turn and hearts melt. It wasn't a red carpet or a press appearance. It was a slice of genuine joy, and fans could feel it. Beverly Hills is about glamour, yes, PK later wrote in a heartfelt post, but today it was about gratitude. For my kids. For old friends, for laughter, for love. Laughter, lats, and lessons. The day started with a quiet breakfast at El Pastello, one of the Kemsleys' favorite spots. Though the venue is typically known for hosting housewives' whispered arguments and cryptic plot developments, this time it was filled with the sound of PK's kids trying and failing to eat spaghetti without making a mess. Even Boy George had to laugh when one of the kids declared the pasta too posh. After breakfast, the group stopped by a local record store, a rare find in a city ruled by streaming playlists. George, a music legend through and through, couldn't resist flipping through vinyls, holding up a copy of Culture Club's debut album and teasing, "Back in the day, your dad thought he could manage me, but really, I managed him." PK, quick on the comeback, replied, "And look where that got us, to Rodeo Drive with a handful of kids and espresso shots." They ended up at Alfred's for those shots, sitting outdoors as passersby discreetly tried to snap photos. But there was no Hollywood pretense. Just a dad letting his children be silly, a pop icon sharing stories from the 80s, and a rare pocket of peace in a town that's always performing. The sun was shimmering over the palm-lined streets of Beverly Hills, casting a golden glow that could only mean one thing. Something fabulous was unfolding, and at the heart of it all, none other than Paul P.K. Kemsley, husband to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Dorrit Kemsley, longtime music manager, father of 4, and self-declared purveyor of the finer things in life. But this wasn't just another Beverly Hills brunch or luxury car delivery. This was a full-on Beverly Hills moment, the kind you'd expect from a man who balances family, fame, and friendships with pop legends like Boy George. On a Saturday that felt dipped in champagne and soundtracked by synth pop hits of the 80s, PK was spotted with his children and his lifelong friend, Boy George, indulging in a day of glitz, gratitude, and good vibes. It was a rare slice of unscripted happiness in the otherwise carefully curated world of reality television. A glimpse into a side of PK that viewers don't always get to see. Clad in designer sneakers and a tailored navy linen suit with his signature shades, PK was the picture of cool dad meets Hollywood biz guy. But it wasn't his outfit that had heads turning on Rodeo Drive. It was the effortless way he blended his showbiz world with his family life. His youngest children, Phoenix and Jagger, were all smiles as they giggled and played outside of the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, while Boy George, resplendent in a kaleidoscopic silk jacket and his iconic hat, stood nearby, sipping an iced espresso and soaking in the scene. "Mate, this is what it's all about," PK said with a grin, one arm slung casually around Boy George, the other waving at fans who had recognized the flamboyant singer from across the street. "A beautiful day in Beverly Hills. My kids are happy, George is here, and no drama, for once." It wasn't lost on anyone present that PK, a man once known for tabloid headlines and Beverly Hills blowouts, was seemingly having a moment of peace, a real grounded moment in a city known for its illusions. Boy George, ever the spiritual sage in sequins, chimed in with his unmistakable wit. "You know, I've performed for royalty and danced on more stages than I can count, but nothing beats seeing your mates find their center." This is PK in his element, family, friends, and a touch of fabulous. The group made their way to the iconic Beverly Hills Hotel for lunch, where they dined al fresco on avocado toast, truffle fries, and mocktails, well, mostly mocktails. PK and Boy George took turns entertaining the kids with funny impressions and old stories from their days in London. Days that felt worlds away from the striped umbrellas and polished sidewalks of their current zip code. But what made this day even more special was what came after lunch. PK surprised his children, and even George, with a spontaneous stop at a music studio tucked into a discreet corner of West Hollywood. "We're not just living in the moment," PK told them. "We're making something out of it." With George at the piano and PK's son Jagger trying his hand at vocals, what started as a visit quickly became a creative session. Phoenix twirled in circles to the sound of George's impromptu chords, and for a brief moment, the studio felt like a time machine transporting them back to a simpler era of music, laughter, and connection. "You've got rhythm, Jagger," Boy George said, raising an eyebrow. "Must be in your blood. You sure your dad never moonlighted as a pop star in the 90s? PK burst out laughing. "Only in my dreams, mate. I left the talent to you. I'm just the guy behind the scenes." But even behind the scenes, PK was shining. There was something quietly triumphant in the way he orchestrated this day, seamlessly blending joy, spontaneity, and the magic of Beverly Hills living. And in a town where so much is filtered, this moment felt refreshingly real. Of course, fans of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills are used to seeing PK in more dramatic settings, defending Dorit at lavish dinner parties, trading witty quips with Mauricio Umansky, or dealing with the constant tabloid swirl around his and Dorit's lives. But off camera, PK is clearly a family man who still knows how to have fun.